Doctor will be prescribing those medicines who are available at that store only. Like hospital का store होगा ना, सिर्फ उस store पे ही वो medicines will be available.
Highly incorrect. Whenever you go to a physician, tell the physician, please write the molecule name on the side of the brand. It is the consumer's right to choose which paracetamol the consumer wants. No Indian should just die because they cannot afford expensive medicines. Go to the villages, you will see what is the status. Forget about health insurance. They don't even understand what is basic roti.
Expiry dates का medicine you should not consume. But then people say it's just a marketing gimmick. You will send back to the pharmacist, they will send back to the team and they'll just change the date.
No,
and
that's incorrect. That's incorrect. That's illegal. If a medicine is expired, just throw it off from your home. See, if someone is a vegetarian, most probably they will get a B12 deficiency. Then you have to go to a hospital and you have to take a B12 shot. But if you come to a Davaindia store, there's a thin strip. Just put it on your tongue. Just put it on your tongue.
Okay.
Done. The shot is done. It's only 12 rupees.
Oh wow.
India across, if you see that they are suffering through gut issues.
Yeah. And what about the heart attacks? Because these days, 18-year-old, 20, recently a 5-year-old got heart attack.
It has lots to do with stress. And this stress is so powerful that it actually collapses your body.
Namaste sir, welcome to Level Up with Anona. Super excited to host you. I mean, the kind of work that you are doing and the industry, pharma industry, pharma retail industry, I would say. It's such a big industry, but बहुत awareness की ज़रूरत है उसमें लोगों को, when it comes to medicines and how the industry is working overall, and you're one of the pioneer in that. So I'm super excited to deep dive and know more about it. But first of all, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first major question, I want to start with your journey because like I mentioned, you're a pioneer. So tell us more about your career path.
Well, I think over decades that I have been associated with various organizations across India and overseas. I have ensured that wherever I am, I add genuine true value to those organizations. And that's always been my mission.
Yeah.
I have never driven an organization only for financial numbers. I have always driven organization towards building a genuine true value in that segment. And financial numbers are derivative of what you do. That's always what happens. So my journey have always been, but definitely I have seen a lot of struggle in my journey. And from there is where I am today.
Wow. So because you mentioned about struggle, if I ask you one challenge that you faced in your life, what would that be? Something?
Well, I think all challenges that I've faced are actually my opportunities that I had got, truly speaking. But when I say challenges, not much, because every single challenge that I faced, I never perceived as challenge. It was a learning and that emulsified as an opportunity for me to kind of grow faster, add more value, and build a much strong and robust ecosystem around me.
True. So if I ask you to define yourself or describe yourself in just 2 words, what would you say?
I think I always believe in driving genuine value and joy. So every time, every single day, when I wake up, I just ensure that what I can do better than what I have done yesterday. And that's my mission for many years now. And I always believe that I should be a catalyst to spread as much as joy around me. Wow. So that people are joyful and I can touch them well.
Yeah, I mean that's really important because people are either running towards just their professional journey or just their the balance that is required, that becomes really difficult at times. So I can see you focus both the ways and every day you're living. So that's really crazy. Every single day. So okay, so I also want to focus and deep dive in Zota Healthcare because you're the group CEO there. So I want to understand the pura, the industry, how it works, and so that a person whosoever watches, they should know the brief. Like I mentioned, I like deep diving in the topics and the segment. So first, a brief about Zota Healthcare.
Zota Healthcare is an organization that have initiated almost 28 years ago now.
Okay.
So we have our factories that produces generic medicines and we export in multiple different continents and countries. We have a brand called Davindia. Davindia is the largest private generic retail chain in the country.
Okay.
So as an organization, our mission is to ensure that we propagate generic medicines, which is a need of our for us, as much as possible towards ensuring a healthy ecosystem in India and abroad.
Okay. So first of all, can you define what generic medicines is?
Yes. So generic medicines by far is a generic form of a drug. What it means is that we primarily talk on molecules. For example, if agar kisi ka zukham hua hai, someone is having cold, etc., they just go and take something called a paracetamol.
Right.
Now, paracetamol is the molecule. Now, there are various brands that is available in the market. So those are the brand. For example, if you take Nescafe, that's a particular brand of coffee. If you remove the label, then that's the coffee. That's the generic coffee. So it's as simple as that. If you take Lipton tea, that's the tea. If you remove the label, then that's the same tea. So it's so powerful, but people need to understand that. And there is, where the education system comes in.
Yeah, I think a lot of awareness.
Yeah, and that's as good as any branded drugs.
That is as good as that.
Absolutely.
But how, like you mentioned, but what do you think? Because you're in the industry, how aware people are about this?
Well, Indian people have to get aware about it because India is primarily a country that is brand driven still now. Because the physicians write still brands. So we are working extremely hard all across urban and rural to ensure that India understands the value of true generic and India understands what is generic. Of course, during the COVID time, we have seen that people have started understanding what is generic medicine because if you go abroad, almost 80% is generic medicines.
Yeah. So, but one is generic, which you mentioned, is not branded, right? But the content is similar.
The molecules are similar.
The molecules are similar, and other is, it's just the brand that comes with.
That's it. It's just the wrapper.
That's the wrapper.
It's just the label.
And if I ask you what's the percentage in India still people are going towards, so is it still branded or
it's still branded? Branded is way ahead.
Way ahead.
Means if you, it's like 20 years ago that we all had BSNL telephones in our home. We are there. So there's a lot of work that have to go through to convert that mindset into generic medicine mindset.
And is there also a differentiation between how the generic medicine looks or the size or the shape or anything?
No.
So it's just the same?
No, it's the same stuff. So that's the reason I give an explanation of a coffee and the tea, which could be our viewers can easily connect.
Got it.
It's the same.
So what are so why I'm asking this is I'm trying to understand. So when I talk about probably a paracetamol, right? So paracetamol mein people are aware with certain brands like Dolo ho gaya, Crocin ho gaya. So these are the brands. So now if I want to go to a generic store and I want to get a paracetamol, so I just have to say paracetamol.
That's it. Not only a generic medicine store, you can go to any pharmacy and rather than saying that, okay, you want so and so brand, you should just say I need a paracetamol 500 or a paracetamol 650. So a plethora of option opens in front of you. And you as a consumer should ideally have the right to choose.
Yeah.
It is the consumer's right to choose which paracetamol the consumer wants. Because the molecule is same. Paracetamol 500 and any other branded 500, the molecule is similar.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is...
And there's a huge advantage of cost that you get.
So tell us more about that. How?
So why would you like to spend extra buck of money for the same item?
It's just the mindset.
It's just the mindset, as simple as that. Because the problem is that when people don't know, then that becomes more scary.
Yeah.
Now that's what most of the scenarios goes through. That people come and speak about what they have seen, heard, learned, etc. Now we are educating people because if Europe, US, UK have already shifted and then they are well advanced. So that is what we are doing out in India now.
Okay. So, but so you are still spreading awareness when it comes.
It's a long way to go.
It's a long way. So, but because you said it's awareness, and I am surprised to know because if you see about the salt part also, so whenever we go to a chemist or everything, so it happens same salt hai, so you can buy
right.
If the particular medicine that a doctor recommended, if it's not available, then we are still very scared about the part that wo particular medicine is not available. So whether we should buy the next one with the same salt and everything. So how does the salt part works in the medicine? It's the same
the
thing.
molecule is nothing but the salt.
But the salt.
अभी इशू कहाँ पे आता है जब एक फिजिशियन बोलते हैं आपको यही ब्रांड लेना पड़ेगा बट व्हाई इज दैट सो when government of India is working so hard to ensure the generic medicine gets spread across the country, A physician should never say, "आपको यही brand लेना पड़ेगा." And normal patients and normal consumers get scared because they think that, okay, the physician have told that, okay, you have to take this brand, and they have to take. No, why should that be?
So, but what do you think? How will they get this education more?
That's what I think all of us have to do. The problem is that ignorance is a curse. And when people don't know, then it becomes much more a cascading curse. So it's important that we as a nation evolve to ensure that we reorient the mindset of people and make them understand the value of good quality generic medicines.
I think that's really important.
It's extremely important.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to deep dive in this. I want to understand, sir, when you talk about generic medicines, is it for every disease? I'm sure, but is it for like from cancer to arthritis? What sort of different diseases
Most of the diseases are having good quality generic medicines. A few may not have yet, but most of them, whether it's ortho, peds, gastro, gynec, diabetes, onco, most of them.
But I think there will be a gap there only, na? Because, okay, so what happens is we go to a doctor for a particular disease or everything. They mention a certain, certain medicines and all of that. Now, whatever they mention, we go towards that and buy that. But there's a subsequent generic medicine that is available, which we don't know about. So that's we don't know, like suppose if I go to the Davindia store, so I don't know, he has given me certain medicine, I should go and talk to the physician, ki these are the medicines that he has given, tell me the generic medicine part of it, and that's not.
No, it doesn't happen like that. A physician, if have written the brands, that same prescription comes to a store, and the corresponding molecule is what is given to the consumer. As simple as that.
Okay.
However, in India, we have very good physicians who are writing based on molecules and salt, who understands that consumers have right to choose. I know great names in India who are writing molecules and salts. So, but the entire industry need to get shifted there. जब तक वो industry shift नहीं होगा, तब तक there will be people who would die because they can't afford expensive medicine.
Wow. So even though a patient can also ask the doctor to just mention the molecule rather than the brand.
Absolutely, yes. And ये patient का हक बनता है to tell the clinician that please write the molecule name.
That's really important.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's an eye-opener topic that people should understand.
And I would urge all our viewers, whenever you go to a physician, tell the physician, please write the molecule name on the side of the brand. And then you decide whatever you want.
Wow. So I want to ask this, ki generic medicines mein, what are the standards that we need to complete so that we can get the FDA approval?
High quality generic medicine is as good as a branded medicine. What it means is that it gets complied by all the regulations of branded medicine. So you don't need to worry about that at all.
Okay. So, okay. This is important to process. I mean, I'm understanding, but because I think health, and specifically after COVID, it has become a regular visit kind of thing to doctors and everything, and people don't know. So that's why I asked, because most of the time it happens. So for example, if you're visiting a doctor, so you'll see this, you to know you're there, that doctor will be prescribing those medicines who are available at that store only. Like hospital ka store hoga na, sirf us store pe hi wo medicines will be available.
That's highly incorrect.
Yeah.
That's highly, when a doctor takes an oath after he passes MBBS, that's not what he takes the oath for. He takes the oath to ensure that he does the right kind of practices.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that India rises up to that level, that India asks the physician, please write the molecule name alongside.
This is very important. I think I would like to spread awareness as much as possible. And isme, sir, I want to understand also, how does the R&D part works when it comes to medicines? How does medicine comes into existence?
Sure.
So, because you're in the manufacturing part of the molecules.
Our factory manufacturing is 100% exports.
Huh.
But just to understand and give you the perspective of it, there is something called innovator. Okay. Innovator are companies who innovate the medicine. They are the first mover to launch that molecule in the market.
Okay.
Now, for every country, there is a span for holding that. Once that time frame gets finished, then that specific formulation can be used by anyone, provided they ensure the quality and accreditations for the manufacturing of that.
Okay.
But during that specific scenarios, the innovator have to hold for specific number of years. And उसके बाद ये open हो जाता है. तब वो market में generic वही product का आ सकते हैं.
Acha. And even I read this ki when it comes to India also, it is called as the pharma capital. And I mean, every third or fourth medicine in Europe and USA is, consumed, which has come from India. So is it true that way also?
India is one of the largest exporter of generic medicines. Unfortunately, that same does not happen in India. It's like, it's darkest below the lamp.
Why is that?
Because, our people are not yet educated to that level that they can use generic medicines. It's only because the physicians still write branded medicine. आप कोई physician के पास जाइए, आप देखेंगे वो branded medicine लिखता है.
Ah, true. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Before researching for the products and every generic medicines for this podcast, I knew nothing. And I am like,
But the same
so
thing does not
surprised.
happen across Europe or US. There they cannot write branded medicine. They have to write molecules.
So why there is no law for this also here
Their
in India?
government is trying their level best to do it. Last 5 years, I myself have seen government is trying their level best.
Huh.
But if they see everything our government cannot do. If the physicians are not doing what the government of India asks them, the government is also taking action. But India is a large country.
Yeah.
The physicians need to understand that they need to do justice for their profession.
True. So even ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, for pharma industry particularly, it's the money spinner when it comes to pharma specifically. So what do you think about that then?
I think the government of India have done tremendous amount of work on this, and they have stopped as much as leakage as possible of that sort what was happening. They have done a phenomenal job. Now this specific thing have been happening over years together, but this government have been so active on this that they want to ensure that the right kind of products move in the market, the right kind of activities happen, and incorrect activities does not happen. So they are taking all sorts of measures to ensure that those things are not promoted at all.
So anything that you are doing in Davaindia for
Davaindia, it's only generic medicine. So we anyway don't operate on brands.
you don't, but to create the awareness.
So to create awareness, we have multiple channels. We go to urban, we go to rural, we go to the physicians, clinicians, doctors, surgeons, hospitals. We do extensive roadshows to make end consumers and people aware. You will see a lot of newspaper ads that we give to make the last mile consumer understand what is generic medicines, why they should shift. We meet doctors, we meet decision-making doctors to make them understand that it's time that they must shift to only molecules so that the end consumer or patient is benefited. We do tremendous amount of work.
But how's the response for that?
It's slow from the physicians, but good physicians are willing, very much willing, because they are already doing it, as what I mentioned. And the end consumers are understanding that yes, it has a lot of merit, and especially after COVID, they do Google and they find out that yes, it's a similar medicine.
And who is the audience in terms of region wise, if I bifurcate? So is it like tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities has more consumption, or tier 1 cities? How is it working that way?
I think it's all across.
It's all across.
Because for our medicine, typically what happens is that since we produce very high quality generic medicines at affordable cost, every consumer who have taken our products, be it health, wellness products, medicines, they have seen true value of it, and they have realized after consumption it's the same medicine, it's working the similar way.
Yeah.
So and it's kind of 70% of the cost reduction in the bills. So that's a huge money.
But isme fir, there's this question that comes na, and specifically ideology, because we spoke about mindset. So it always comes because if it's cheaper, then it must not be good in quality. So that's a mindset that people has. Any which ways, not in pharma, in any product.
There was a time when incoming cost used to cost us in mobiles.
Huh.
There was a time when we used to see incoming call 8 rupees.
Huh.
Now it don't happen. Now it's so low cost. Now data is almost throwaway cost. So it's not true that if the cost reduces, the quality reduces. No. It's only that with advancement, all costs have come down. You see that every single cost have actually came down. Music was so expensive once upon a time.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of free. Whole day you can listen music from your phone. Data was so expensive. It's almost free. So if you apparently see, the costs are actually shrinking.
Yeah.
Now it's a misnomer that costs are going up. If you really see, no one is dying of hunger nowadays.
Yeah.
100 years ago, 50 years ago, people used to die of hunger.
True.
Today, no one dies of hunger. People may die of overeating, but people will not die of hunger.
True that.
So the world is actually not so bad as what we project or how we project it. It's just how you see it.
Yeah, very true. And I think the more information people get in the
Right kind of information.
because there's a lot of information.
There's terrible amount of data in the market.
Yeah.
People mislead people. There are a lot of wrong data. So it's very important to have the right kind of information.
Okay. So tell me more about Davindia. How is it working? First of all, what's the bifurcation between Zota and Davindia?
Zota Healthcare is the parent company and Davindia is a brand. So Zota Healthcare is an organization, but Davindia is a brand for the generic medicine chain.
Okay, so you have different retail stores across India for that, and you have different all sort of medicines there, right? And you have people can buy the franchisee also. How
People can take franchisee as well. They have to approach and there's a certain criteria for franchisee. If they kind of qualify on that and they're really passionate about serving the nation, yes, they can get that.
And what about because we spoke about different kind of diseases and everything, that any which ways generic medicine is the key that we can focus on. So what about women? I want to ask you more. Do we have any specific, in terms of medicines and any awareness thing that you're doing specifically for women?
There are a lot of work that Davindia is doing for women across the country by the name of #Change.
Okay.
So #Change is a program, where we are working in the rural India, in the villages where women cannot afford sanitary pads. And women undergo a huge issue of urinary tract infections. So UTI is a very common disorder in Indian women because of the low amount of knowledge, and also because of unaffordability of sanitary napkins and similar, and multiple other reasons. So Davindia is working a tremendous amount of work in the rural villages to educate them, to ensure that we give the right kind of advice. Davindia is also working on home violence. So the home violence is one strong part that is extremely prevalent, but it is not spoken about. So and that is all across, not only in the rural, that's there in the most affluent classes also, and it is much worse there, I would say. So we do a lot of work with women because we feel that women are definitely the powerhouse for the nation as a whole. For an organization perspective, for our pharmacists. Last year we had 3% women. 6 months ago we had 6.2% women as a pharmacist workforce. 3 months ago we had 13.2% women, and as I speak it is 21% women as pharmacist workforce for us. So we are doing tremendous amount to see that we really build women power all across.
So you train them?
They get on a huge training programs. So at employment level, we are trying to ensure that women get more and more employments. At their home level, we are trying to work out where home violence can be addressed. At a physical level, we are working on UTIs and similar kind of programs where women have better menstruations and women reduce the UTI infections on them through various mechanisms. So in totality, the company is very much focused about women of the country.
I think I can see the ideology, sir. It's kudos to you and the company, I would say, because when I spoke to you, I could feel that you really want, apart from the professional work, you really want to spread that awareness, and you want to change people's lives.
If women are not respected, trust me, the nation would never grow.
Of course.
I'm a strong believer of that.
Yeah.
We cannot take women as commodities. We cannot take women as products. We have to understand that women genuinely, and not for the sake of saying, genuinely should hold the same position as men.
And
they need
kitna bhi bolo, there is a gap. There's still a gap.
That's exactly why I gave you the data points, to understand how we are bridging those gaps.
Yeah, that's amazing. So even if I see our Davindia stores, is it similar to Jan Aushadhi stores that government has? Is it somehow the same structure?
Jan Aushadhi is a generic retail from the government of India.
Yeah.
And Davindia is a generic pharmacy as a private segment.
Acha, as a private segment. But apart from that,
The perspective is same for for all of us.
And then you're making medicines accessible and affordable for every person.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
because the cost is increasing, wo health insurance le lo, so people will be like, I have the health insurance, so it's okay to just buy the mehenga wala medicines and all of that. But it's not always the case. There's always something that is happening when it comes to health perspective, and you always have to go and buy some sort of medicine.
See, what happens is that you're talking of health insurance for 2, 3, 4% of population of India. Go to the villages, you will see what is the status. Forget about health insurance. They don't even understand what is basic roti. What are we talking of health insurance? They can't afford education system for their children. With 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees of earning in the family, feeding 6 people, their school, their books, their grocery, their education, their ration, the kerosene bill, where does that money stays to buy expensive medicines? And that's the reality. If we don't work to change it, how can India grow?
But how are you, I don't know how much this question is right, but how are you managing then in terms of, because if you're making the medicines affordable for people, then isn't that affecting your cost part? And
Yeah, we operate on
part?
very thin profitable margins.
Yeah.
Very, very thin profitable margins. So our margins are extremely thin line. But when you have a larger mission to achieve, then you can still operate on those margins and still march towards a mission.
And I think the market that knows about it must be really less. Like I can say like 2-3%.
It's very low. It's very low because what happens is that the market is evolving. It's like, those days, when people used to go to the bank and, take cash from the teller of the bank, and we used to give given tokens. And today we have all shifted to ATMs. Hardly people go to the bank and withdraw cash. So this will take time.
This will take time, but this will happen because the more educated people are getting, I think they are knowing and they are ready to move towards the change. That's what I think.
And we are going to the villages. We are doing, there's tremendous amount of work going on. Means we want to build that change in India so that every Indian have affordable Davaindia medicine in their pocket, and no Indian should just die because they cannot afford expensive medicines.
So your medicines, does that comes with Davindia
Yes.
brand and everything? Okay, perfect. I also want to know, sir, because COVID is one thing that has changed, the health segment and the health industry. And there's something always happening. It's like after COVID, the virus has not stopped. So first of all, how did COVID went for you in terms of we were on the taking that bat, but you were giving the medicines and everything. So how did
Well,
it go for you?
I think during the COVID part, I was extremely busy, and I was completely on the roads to ensure that we work. That have been a period that India have seen where people have had lost jobs, people did not have food, animals died on the streets. It was a pathetic thing that the world have seen.
Yeah.
I was personally traveling continuously those 2 to 3 years to ensure that I do the job right, what I'm supposed to do during that point of time. I myself got infected at least 3 to 4 times COVID because I was in direct contact with people all across. But COVID have made people more alert. COVID have made people understand that they have to be taking more proactive medicines. They have to take health supplements. They have to eat food right. They have to take care of their body and mind. And that is the reason if you go to any Davindia store, you'll not only find medicines, you'll find a host of wellness products. You'll find a host of be healthy products. So it's a range that you will find in the stores. But COVID have made people also understand that what molecules are, because they went and searched, because mobile usage went up during the COVID time. So COVID have made people more educated to understand that good quality generic medicines are the way ahead for everyone.
But is it ever going to stop? Now there's another viral, now there's another viral. What do you think? Because you're there in the...
I think, we had these even 500 years ago, even 200 years ago, even 100 years ago. There is enough data point to talk on that. This would continue. I don't see it coming down. What should everyone do is that they should ensure that they lead a more better, healthy lifestyle. They should take enough amount of healthy nutrients and food, which is important. And there is where cost comes very strongly. If you want to get into a health supplements, and if it's not cost effective, you can't afford it.
100%.
So there is, see, the viruses are there to stay across the world, but you have to live life. So you need to know how to protect your body. To protect your body, you need to do whatever is to be done. That is the reason I say, proactiveness is very important than a reactive medicine.
True. Makes sense. And how is the online versus retail market is doing when it comes to pharmacy? Because why I'm asking, a lot of time now people have started ordering online also through medicines per se. But I have seen there are huge gaps what they order and what they get, and then they consume and that they are not well. So that's the thing that is happening.
I still believe that Indian ecosystem believes in touch and feel. And that is the reason in Davaindia we have good, roughly around 700 stores all across the country. We would be rolling out online, but a little later once India gets a little bit more matured. So that there could be an online and offline hyperlocal model that would work for us.
Makes sense.
But we didn't want to rush because others are rushing for online, because we felt that if there's a store next to your house and you go to the store, you'll be more comfortable.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be more realistic than just jumping on the gun because someone else is doing it.
So even the physicians who are there at the stores, they know, like we can ask them, like this is the...
They are the pharmacists in the stores.
Sorry, the pharmacist.
Yeah, so absolutely yes.
They know the basics of salts and everything.
Absolutely, they are pharmacists.
Pharmacist knows, that's what I'm asking. They know.
They do know.
Okay, they do know. Okay, and okay, so अगर मैं sir इसकी अपने retail stores की बात करूँ, so what एक अगर आपसे hero product, if I ask you your hero product, so what would they be?
In Davaindia store? See, every week it changes. Every week we bring great products. But as of now, if you talk of hero product, it's methylcobalamin, or in common language, it is B12.
Okay.
For B12, see, if someone is a vegetarian, then most probably they will get a B12 deficiency. If someone is vegetarian, then you have to go to hospital and you have to take a B12 shot. But if you come to a Davindia store, you don't need to take a shot. There's a thin strip, just put it in your tongue.
Sublingual.
Just put it in your tongue. Just put it on tongue.
Okay.
Done. The shot is done. It's only 12 rupees.
Oh, wow.
So you don't need to spend 650 rupees.
Yeah.
So every week some new product comes out. We have amazing products for women hair, because we found that women hair is a potential issue that India faces. We have amazing products for women hair to strengthen hair and so on and so forth. So every week product changes and new products comes out.
But if I ask you, because you mentioned the technical molecule part of
methylcobalamin and B12.
Exactly. Yes. So what are certain, if I ask you 2 or 3 particular these molecules or salts that every person should know, what would you say?
I think cholecalciferol is one.
Easy way to explain.
Okay. I'll make life easier. I think vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin D, and vitamin E.
Okay.
I think these are the basics.
So vitamin C.
People don't need to know. People
the
don't
molecule.
Need to know. If I make things more complex, then what happens is the viewers may not know that. So even if they know the basics, it's absolutely fine. Means I don't need to say ascorbic acid, I don't need to say cholecalciferol, I don't need to say methylcobalamin, I don't need to say piperacillin tazobactam. I need to say simple words that people can understand and people can correlate. But what is important is that people need to understand that what I explained to you. For a vitamin B12 deficiency, people have to go to a hospital, they have to take an injection shot. Not required. World have changed. They just have to walk to a Davindia store and one strip is only 12 rupees. Just put it on your tongue. You don't need water.
It's equivalent to the shot?
Absolutely equivalent.
Wow.
And the dosage is also written there in the file.
It's mentioned.
Yes.
And I think the 12 rupees and
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Because medicine bills are huge. I mean, if I'm thinking about myself also, I'm just processing, like every month my brother orders a multivitamin ka dabba, supplement ka dabba, and it costs heavens. And then when I forget to eat it, I feel bad, like it was so costly and I didn't eat it. So that's a case. It's very heavy. It's very pocket heavy when it comes to medicine.
Now for people like you and me, still we can afford.
Yeah.
There are people who can't afford basic medicines if someone has a fever in their home, if someone have a stomachache, if someone have a period cramps. They can't afford the basic medicines.
Yeah.
Because for them, the first thing they have to afford is rice. The first thing they have to afford is chapati. The first thing they have to afford is some sabji,
True.
some spoon fees.
True.
So if you go to them, you will see a mother is crying because the son is having fever and they can't afford medicine. What pain that mother must be undergoing because the cost of a branded medicine is expensive.
Yeah.
No, there is where the actual story lies for India.
I mean, and people say, you should do something for others. I mean, this could be incredible. I mean, through this, even I want to say, if I can somehow collaborate with you and get the medicines to
I'm so thankful to all of you that all of you are part of this journey that we are doing.
This is
such a deep journey that, and each one of my team members are so committed. Rain, hail, storm, I don't think anything can stop them.
Yeah.
It means whether you are well, unwell, whether it's sunny, whether it's because we are working for a cause.
Yeah, this is a cause.
Absolutely.
I mean, which is untouched and which is important and untouched yet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So if okay, I want to ask one very common question when it comes to medicine. So there's a two-side notion that happens when it comes to medicine in terms of the expiry dates and everything. Okay, so a lot of people say that expiry dates ka medicine you should not consume because it's expired, obviously. But then people say it's it's just a marketing gimmick. Whether if it's expired, so it's just you will send back to the pharmacist, they will send back to the team, and they'll just change the date.
No,
and
that's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect. That's illegal.
Okay.
If a medicine is expired, just throw it off from your home. Don't consume it.
Don't consume it. It can have side effects and everything.
You should not consume it. As simple as that. If a medicine is expired, just throw off.
Okay. Okay.
So and someone who changes dates, etc., that's not only incorrect, that's illegal.
That's illegal.
Yes.
Okay. And this actually, when I was researching also. So I went through. I don't want to say the big company's name, but there was this case study where it happened that when the quality check and everything was done, a generic medicine company. So what came out was the medicines that they were exporting were really good in quality, but whatever was getting consumed in India, it wasn't. So, and that's how the mindset banta hai na ki probably Indian manufacturers or Indian companies, Indian retail stores and everything, they are probably not producing good quality content specifically for India. So what do you have to say on that?
We have very strict quality assurances, and every single Davaindia medicine that comes to the store goes through a process of quality check.
Can you explain the process in
I was
brief?
just telling that. And so typically what happens is that the best of manufacturers in India who manufactures branded medicine, many of our medicines are manufactured from the same plant.
Okay.
So what it means is that they are the best of plants that India or Asia has. Now, if our medicines are also manufactured from the same plant, so by default, there is a very stringency of quality that goes through. And there is no compromise on that at all.
Okay.
So there is where every single regulations goes through, every single certifications are there, because anyway, we are sourcing from the best of manufacturers.
Okay. So if I ask you, what are the accreditations or certification that a person should look when they are buying a medicine?
For a common person, it's very difficult to understand whether it's GMP or WH. I think it's very difficult. So because as per the government norms, you cannot sell a medicine if it does not come through proper accreditation norms.
Achha, you cannot. So basically the idea is you have to have that trust, and then you have to have that awareness of what you're consuming.
You need to do the right thing in life, as simple as that. I'm never a believer of shortcuts in life.
So how do you cope up with all the things when it comes to medicine and the research that you do and everything that you're working on? So how do you balance your life between that professional juggle and that personal space that you need in your life?
It's very difficult for me.
Yeah,
Because when you drive a mission like this, you hardly get any personal space. And personal space is something that we really don't get time about. Because at our level, we have to work at least 16, 17 hours a day. So we have to just balance, because we know that amount of man hours are needed for us.
Yeah.
And that's what we are doing. So I don't want to just fabricate the answer. There are beautiful answers people say about work-life balance, etc.
Yeah.
But at least I have not learned it yet. For me, it's more of work that goes through, and that's what is happening over decades. It's not only now.
Yeah.
So I think I'm very poor about work-life balance till date.
And how do you keep updated yourself with all the data that you spoke about? I mean, the research and everything. How do you?
When you are so much involved in your line of business, what you're doing, you would by default get updated.
True that. And if anything I ask you particularly that you want to say to the budding entrepreneurs, what would you say?
It's very important for budding entrepreneurs to understand that whatever you're doing, do for the right cause and purpose. Don't do for that, okay, if I get into this business, it will yield up this amount of money. That's never the way. I have never, ever worked on those platforms. If you do work for the right cause and purpose of your life, whatever you're doing, then money would flow in. But if you do it for the reverse, for the money, then it's a very short-term satisfaction. You can't sleep well.
Yeah.
For any budding entrepreneurs, it's extremely important for them to understand the genuine value for building something, why they are building it.
True. Why? They should ask the questions why. And coming to your field also, because like I mentioned, it is said that people say pharma mein bahut paisa hai and all of that. So people want to get into this industry somehow. Like when COVID came, people started making masks and everything, different sort. So if I ask you, and if you address person, and whosoever is watching who want to focus specifically to get into, maybe pharma retail or any sort of subsidiary, but pharma industry overall. So what would you say to them? How is the market and how the industry?
Zota Healthcare have a beautiful innovator concept where it's an incubation center. So we run incubation center where any youngster who wants to start a business and he is not getting direction, we provide mentorship, we provide office space, we provide software, hardware, we provide assistance for finance. So we have a beautiful incubation because we believe that across India, there are people who need support.
Yeah.
So they reach out to us and we are working tremendously with the youngsters on that. So if someone really wants to get into it and they want a direction, there is a way to get into. There's a mail ID called ceodesk@zotahealthcare.com. They can write to us on that. There's a team who assesses the whole thing and they reach out to them. So we are working everything possible for India to ensure that we level up India to the next level, whatever possible.
Leveling up. But I want to ask you, sir, here that so much that the work and everything that you're doing, but one thing that always happens, because it's a business, Gujarat is a business kind of, hawa mein business hai aisa bolte hain. But when people talk a lot in terms ki I want to start this, I want to start that and all of that, but when it comes to starting now, it's always comes to a halt. So if you want to take that first step ahead, so what is your mantra? If you say ki this is whenever you're starting something new, because you're always diving deep into something new in every week, I would say. So how do you start? How do you just take that action?
See, I myself help multiple young entrepreneurs and youngsters to start the engine of their plane. What's important is that if you're really committed that you want to do something, and if you're clear about it, then just start. Don't worry about something else. Even if you are not so-called successful, you will have a tremendous amount of learning. But I always believe that there's nothing called tomorrow. In my dictionary, there's nothing called tomorrow. If I have to do something, I'll do it today.
Yeah.
So I don't like people who just mulls off an idea and they think, okay, मैं आज करूँगा, कल करूँगा, अगले हफ्ते करूँगा, अगले महीने करूँगा. It means they are not really serious about it. If you really do something, do it. And rest everything will make a road for it.
True that. That's important. Procrastination is like
it's a curse. Procrastination is a curse.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a snooze button.
True that. It's a snooze button, and that's why just start nahi hota is the...
The problem is that youngsters are not very clear what they want. They sleep more. They eat more. They are more bothered about how many likes have come, how many comments have come. They don't know how to make their road for themselves.
True that.
If I tell a youngster you sleep for 3 hours, they will collapse.
True.
But if they sleep for 8 hours, where will they get time?
True that. So, but this reminds me, like, a lot of things are happening now. Just like you mentioned, people dying with overeating and stuff like that. So, because gut issues and all of that, this has become really common. So, how is it working? Because you're there in the market, do you have medicines and the demand has increased for that particularly more? Is it so?
See, India across, if you see that they are suffering through gut issues.
Yeah.
There is a syndrome called IBS, where many people are suffering from IBS, which is called intrinsic bowel syndrome. Now, gut issues come from various reasons. Of course, every segment suffers from gut issues for various reasons. There is a segment that suffers from gut issues for stress. But whatever it is extremely important to take good care of your gut.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do a proper cleansing of your gut, of the entire intestines, then eventually that will actually hamper your metabolism.
Makes sense.
And once it hampers your metabolism, then all sorts of problems starts.
Everything starts from gut.
Everything starts from gut. So we have a series of pre-probiotics with us in the form of sachets, in the form of gummies, in the form of tablets.
Gummies works, sir?
And the formulation is similar. Only thing is that someone who don't want to have too much of sugar, I don't recommend gummies to them. Because you have to add a portion of sugar to build the taste. Right? So, but it's extremely important to take care of gut, because if your gut is not healthy, in somewhere your metabolism gets disoriented.
Yeah.
So I think that's the exact. So we have a series of gut health nutrients and products that works for people as well.
And probiotics works.
Of course,
do you think people should make them a regular habit? I mean, there's a question.
If you can afford, yes. If you can't afford, go for whatever you can afford. For example, probiotic curd or normal curd.
Yeah.
See, curd is nothing but in milk. If you put lactobacillus kgi, it becomes curd. So if people can afford, they must get into probiotics. If people can't afford, there are other ways how you can cleanse your gut.
But I'm sure what's the cost range, if you're okay to discuss?
It's very minimalistic.
It's very minimal again. So people can basically, it's just they don't know that they can.
It's only that people don't know. The problem is ignorance is a curse. It's only that people don't know. I know people who feel that, okay, this is what I have done this and I cannot do things in this way.
Yeah.
I said, why you can't? You need to do anything and everything. So it's knowledge that actually empowers you.
True that. I mean, that's really important. And medicine, because when I because I interview doctor and everything, the more I speak, I understand that, and I feel this way, ki I should have known this earlier. This is like, now I'm meeting you. This is the first notion, and I feel I'll be telling this to everyone who is close to me. Please understand that you should know the salt and the molecules.
Absolutely.
And whatever you're consuming, वो सिर्फ एक वो brand है कि हाँ ये brand है, चलो brand के नाम पे let's not order. Let's not do that. So I think that's really important. And what about the heart attacks? Because these days, I mean, 18-year-old, 20, recently a 5-year-old got heart attack. I mean, so do you feel and do you see any reason particularly for that also?
Well, again, it's all different segments. For a 5-year-old heart attack, first is you have to understand and go deep dive on that. What was wrong? It may or may not be the actual heart attack. It may be some other coronary disease that was there. But in general, when we talk of cardiac arrest or heart attack, it has lots to do with stress. People are genuinely under stress. And since at personal level, I do a lot of consultations, I see that normal people, when they walk on the road, you can't understand the stress they're holding.
Yeah.
But they're under terrible amount of pressure. And this stress is so powerful that it actually collapses your body. So I think it's very important to de-stress as much as possible. Easier said than done, definitely. But unless we know how to de-stress, you will have all sorts of problems. You'll have gastritis, you'll have heartburns, you'll have heart attacks, you'll have metabolism issues, you'll have obesity, you will have dark eyes, dark wrinkles, everything.
True. And because you mentioned about the wellness product, I'm getting really interested and getting to know more. So we spoke about the wellness product also. So what kind of product? Wellness which
we have
main?
Whole range.
Acha, from hair to...
From hair to your skin, to your palm, to your foot, everything. We have a great product like Boren Vedic.
Right.
It's It's one of the best products that is there with low sugar and high protein. We have products like whole milk, which is a great malt product, which is a very, very affordable product. We have great protein supplements.
You have protein supplements?
Everything is
Okay,
there.
okay.
Everything under the roof that should and could keep you healthy and wealthy.
And protein supplements, maybe because there's a lot of
All different flavors, all different shades. We have diabetic supplements, we have neuro supplements, everything is there.
But sir, there lot of time debate happens when it comes to protein supplements also, whether you should take it, whether you should not take it, because like we spoke about heart attacks, it also came ki there can be a reason that it happened because of protein supplements. So because you are in the
you have to see that, what are the ingredients and whether you are using the right product or not. That's exactly what I started. So we have the best of products that is available. So once you have the best of products, you would ensure that you're consuming it for the right purpose.
Ultimately, it boiled back down to awareness, and you should know the quality and everything that you're consuming. Amazing. And last question about the pharma industry, I want to ask: how do you see the trend and the technology and the AI part that is changing the industry?
I personally love generative AI, and I know that if, for example, in a locality, if someone is a geriatric patient, someone is old, or someone have orthopedic problem, good take a problem, so the system should detect, and the system should actually touch base to that last mile consumer in that place or the patient and say that, hey, currently you are taking these medicines and this is the cost. The similar molecule, this is the cost, and you save this amount of money. So, and of course, refill reminders and so on and so forth. So, Indian pharma retail is exponentially there to grow. If you understand well the market, and AI is one critical tool that we are using to ensure that we kind of capsule the whole thing well, so that the end consumers, the patients, are genuinely benefited out of the whole story.
True. And okay, last again question, because you spoke about the gummies part, medicines. When it comes to the medicines, you spoke about different like gummies mein hota, and then the medicine. So we have different sorts of kind of medicines. Molecules jisme same hota hai. There's the same sort of molecules, right? So I want to understand, suppose if there's a pain medicine, so we either take it orally, or we either probably will be putting a balm or a gel or something. So how does it work? Both happens in both works in the same way in terms of no, it doesn't.
For example, if there's a muscle pain, okay, you take a muscle relaxant in the form of capsule. It gets into your body. Here you have your trachea and esophagus. It is separated by something called epiglottis. So, moment you take the medicine with water, it goes into your body, it breaks down, if it's a slow release, fast release, whatever it is, and it works on your blood. But for the same muscle pain, if you're using a gel, muscle gel, the molecule commonly is called diclofenac gel.
Okay.
Whatever brands that you see in the market, if you correlate, you'll see the word is written diclofenac gel.
Okay.
So if you use it, it operates on the cutaneous and the subcutaneous layer of the body, and it cannot penetrate beyond the level of the subcutaneous usually, unless you use a thermos pack on that.
Okay.
So both works a little different. When you take the capsule, it works on your bloodstream directly, and when you operate, or when you use the gel, it operates on the skin, cutaneous and subcutaneous layers.
That's very important, because often people does that. They're having a pain, so like you mentioned, ki they have two different roles. So probably they needed a balm, but they had a capsule. So this is something, a very common thing that a general consumer does wrong and goes wrong. So that's why the thing is, we should know what we are doing and how we are doing. Super amazing session. So it's an eye-opener session. I think lot of things that people should know, and I'll try my level best through my podcast that it reaches to the more and more audience. But you're doing, first of all, like, great fan. Super work that you're doing, and the kind of awareness and the kind of topics that you are breaking and bringing out. That's amazing. So kudos to you, sir, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.